Hi friends, this is Dainty Tank. Welcome back to interactive portraits of real life trans people, trans activists, trans artists, trans thinkers, based on interviews carried out in Japan in spring of 2018 by Zoe Anders Street. Here we go. Welcome back. This is very important. This is going to be posted on the Trans Day of Remembrance. If you don't know what that means or what it is, we're going to take a second to talk about this. So, very important to just lay the framework that for the LGBTQIA plus community, this is a very solemn day. We have lost to violence so many of our trans brethren, trans sisters, trans they thems, any of them, because of hatred, violence, worry from society at large. It's a time to take stock and reflect on what's been lost, as well as every year we lose all of the great minds, all of those amazing leaders who could be, and we lose them. And it's tragic. It's absolutely heart-wrenching. And it's something that takes time to really understand and consider. Please always reach out. There's always resources down below for you to reach out to if you need, especially during harder times like this. Know that you're not alone, but please take the day. Take 30 minutes, take an hour. Take a look at all of the wonderful and amazing trans people who have been before us, who carried so much of the burden trying to get this community rights, as well as remembering the lives we've lost this year. And really just take that in. Know that we can do better and we need to be better. But with all that being said, I figured today was a good idea to take time and go back to this game. There was a lot of fantastic points of view, ideas, and thinkers in here. And I think it's important to just finish this out. So, thank you for letting me spiel at you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. I'm pointing a link down below to GLAAD's resources on the Trans Day of Remembrance to kind of give you some more ability to read up on this as well. With that, let's get started. So last we left off, we had seen Jesper, who is a trans YouTuber, and now we're going to Matsuyo. My partner is a surrogate mother, and I wonder if she's going to be okay. Will she miss the baby? Snoozing. Oh yeah, you could hover over. Woo! Oh yeah, epilepsy warning, photosensitivity warning. Does it make you feel bad? That sounds painful. Does it make you feel bad? When my partner said that she wanted to have children and raise children, I felt it would have been simpler if my body could give her that, and I felt kind of sad. Why not have pride? That sounds painful. Why not have pride? Being transgender isn't my ideal. My ideal is to have a male body. That sounds complicated. But I haven't had to worry as a result of being trans. I have the same worries as everyone in this area. What will happen to our jobs? And what will happen to society? What will happen to jobs? I think I transitioned at a really good time. When I first started looking for work in Tokyo, I was hired as a man. Only the director knew I was trans. What work did you do in Tokyo? I had been working for a subsidiary of an electronics company, but things became tough, and my own work hours were reduced by about half. My dad told me that I should come home, so I did. Now we repair cars together. Cool. How is work going? Thinking 5 years into the future, work connected with cars is going to gradually reduce. There are more and more places where it is convenient to live without a car, and everybody is spending their money on computers and smartphones rather than on cars. Okay, are you married? I'm polyamorous. Good for you! Though right now, I only have one partner. Are many LGBT people polyamorous? In Japan, polyamory doesn't exist to a large enough extent to have entered the LGBT community. But if it does become more well-known, perhaps it might count as a type of sexual minority? Why do you value polyamory? I only have one partner, and I feel happy. So, am I even polyamorous at this point? I just feel that it is natural to love people. Are people accepting of it? People sometimes say about polyamory, I feel so sad for my partner, but it's their business if they feel bad. What if you weren't LGBT? I'm a little confused on how they're using sad. What if you weren't LGBT? I don't know if I would be polyamorous if I wasn't transgender. Yeah, there's a lot of just traditions that would probably have been placed upon you if you hadn't been a step outside the norm. LGBT and the larger community is, by and large, having to already take that step and break away from society in so many areas that, polyamory is just an extension of that as well. I don't know if I would be polyamorous. What made you choose to be polyam? I think it's strange to deny our love for people or to say that it isn't allowed. Facts. What if you were trans? Perhaps I would still come to the same conclusion if I were not trans, just as a result of my education. Interesting. Thanks for talking to me. Yeah, polyamory totally exists, very valid. Takes a lot of communication. Oh my god, does it take so much communication. Oh wow. Me and the dainty wife are monogamous. Boop boo doo doo doo. Monogamy. Anyways. But we know quite a few polyam people, and it's just so much communication. Any relationship is, especially in the LGBTQIA plus community, but there's a lot of just structures and ceremonies to the discussions that have to happen, especially when you're involving more people. Oh, there's a lot more complexity to it. All right, here we go. I see myself as happy. Every present moment is good. Oh, that's good. Kincho. Chilling out. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. From the moment you were born, pain is necessary. Pleasure is necessary. But no matter what, it will be what it is. That's very realistic of you. But there is also so much sadness. It must be nice to be happy. Is passive the right word? Maybe fluid is better. Qui sera, sera. Or rather, whatever is, just is. How did you become happy? There was a lot of sadness, a lot of loss, but to lose something means that you had something. What did you lose? Many things happened. Gender issues, family issues, grief. How awful. Then my sister's husband committed suicide, so she was left behind, all alone. Please don't. No unaliving. I need you all. I love you. There's always resources. Talk to people. We care. How did this change? It sounds like a lot. 2 years ago, my sister's child died in a car crash at the age of 6. This is so terrible. I'm so sorry, Kensho. How does that feel? Then my sister's husband. Oh my god. Okay. How did this change you? I realized then that we all die. From the moment you are born, you are destined to die. That is a fact. That's how it's been. Mortality makes you happy? How do you see trans issues? That struggle must be accepted for what it is. What should trans people accept? We must accept the fact that we end up in conflict over the very question of how to accept the way things are. Shouldn't we accept gender? The original way that things are is naked and without culture. I would agree. What is gender then? Runtime error line 64. Breath equals mood. Breath. Sync player activity. Attempt to perform arithmetic on field breath. A nil value. In node track line 64, tab 2. In underline updated, line 18, tab 1. Wow. Okay, that actually broke. Let's just try it again. Not all moments are good. From the moment you are born, penis necessary. Of course there is sadness, yet things are as they are. What do you mean? The word human rights comes from the difficult history, with many wars, so this country could progress. Trans rights? That struggle must be accepted for what it is. What should society accept? People who have a problem with trans people have to accept the society is going to change. Shouldn't we accept? Yep. There's a society that complicates things and covers the body. How do you cope with hate? If a child is rude, I know it's because they are a child. We all have our prejudices that we need to grow out of. What motivates you? I don't agree with the idea of having an ikigai, or like an interest that motivates you to keep going. What do you enjoy? I have fun based on what I feel and what I'm enjoying. I do what's fun in each moment. Can you give me examples? Swimming, making plastic models. I do these things, but I don't like them to become a goal. What do you like about life? It's a moment-to-moment thing. Sounds very fluid. I don't like this idea that you have this hobby because you think a particular way. But it's not a hobby? If you link it to your identity, it becomes something you have to do. An obligation. Restrictive. Thanks for talking to me. Alright, next we're Rin. I'm Rin. I work at various LGBTQ plus community spaces in the Kansai area. I also do something. Resting. Okay. When did you start? I've been doing this since 7 years ago. Why did you start? Originally, I was living in Kyobe and wished there was a place for the LGBTQ plus community to gather there. The first place I accessed was in Osaka. Oh. What's the Osaka Center like? Even now, the Queer and Women's Resource Center in Osaka is a super important place for me. I think it is a very good non-profit org, so I want to help them out. Oh, what topics come up? Many of the issues have existed forever, like coming out to your parents. Yeah, coming out is hard. Yes, employment counseling related to work is also on the ongoing problem. Many people cannot find work because they are trans. Is there government support? The local government seem to sense that there is an important work to be done, and people need to be able to talk to someone about LGBTQ plus issues. So telephone consultation services are being provided. Oh. Are they any good? Some of them are good. I'm doing telephone consultation at Yodogawa Ward until March. I think it's a really great phone consultation service. Huh. What should people do? It'd be better if people came in person rather than making lots of phone calls. Many of these government-run phone lines are not staffed properly. It's down to luck. But nowadays with COVID, that's different. Why don't staff get it? Because the word LGBT is spreading. Everyone knows the term, but some government staff don't acknowledge anybody who does not identify as L, G, B, or T. Or they say love is love, and they don't really understand the problems people face. How can they help them? Many of them just refer people to another service at an LGBTQ plus center like QWRC in Osaka. But we can't take on all of these referrals from the city government. You also support schools? I like to give lectures on the diversity of LGBTQ plus people. That's true. The plus is there for a reason. The plus is basically, hey, this is an expanding category. It is always going to be expanding as we discover more about humans. We're so interesting, and there's a whole spectrum out there. So, what do you teach? I start by explaining that LGBTQ plus issues are not specific problems, but part of a larger family of issues that affects all societal minorities. How do you teach this? I teach them about the 4 indices of sexual orientation, gender expression, and so on, so that they know that this includes everyone. After that, I talk about the problems facing LGBTQ plus students. That's a great way of going about this, because there's different indices of how you can explain that, because there's gender, the way you feel, sexual orientation, who you're attracted to, romanticism, who you're romantically interested in, as well as biological sex, which is a physiological thing. That's why a lot of people just throw intersex people into trans issues, and that's not right. Intersex is a whole different thing. That's why I is separate from the T. But you also teaching them these indices of these different things, and teaching them that that everyone hits on that spectrum. That's not you're trans or not. You're trans or cis. You're asexual, aromantic, agender, or allo. So forth, so on. There is a other side of the spectrum that is more of the societal norms that has vocabulary around it. And teaching that is so cool. Is this important to you? I think that it would be good if this work were not necessary, if the teachers were able to answer students' questions on this topic. Teachers should improve. Some teachers have been inviting me to speak for years. Surely they can handle this topic by now. Thanks for talking to me. Alright, it's Suki. Where to begin? I was born in the 1960s. I'm 56 years old, but I tell my students I'm 36. Good for you. Having a snooze. Good for you. Good for you. Have things changed? Gradually, new ideas are developing. Maybe we are version 2.0 of gender now and version 3.0 will really separate orientation, sex, expression, and identity. Yes. Why do you teach? I'm very concerned about human rights. About 25 years ago, I realized that it is not teachers who empower children. Children empower each other. You must do amazing work. Well, I drink a lot. Oh, is gender in conflict? Cisgender people use the toilet that matches their identity. And trans people did the same thing. It is consistent. There is only a problem because people make it into a problem. Facts. How do you make change? What do you do? I have worked at the school since 1985, and I worked here as a man until 1999. I'm glad you transitioned. How did you make change? I created peer support groups for Baraku, Korean Japanese, and trans children. Korean Japanese? Almost all Korean students use a Japanese name, so nobody knows they are Korean. Do they have a hard time? Do they ever come out? They don't come out as Korean Japanese, but they are able to meet this way. Nice. This is secrecy cause problems? Because there aren't so many of them, Koreans may think that they are the only ones, like being gay or lesbian. Do they have a hard time? Maybe they don't feel like they're having a hard time exactly, but their societal position was difficult. So they meet up here? Oh, something clicked through. Ooh. Here they can speak openly. This is Koopa, right? Yes, Koopa. What is school like for them? Korean Japanese students will say things like, I ate Koopa last night, and they'll be asked, what is Koopa? So they explain that soup with rice, and that other students say it's not what it's called. So they think, oh, my family is different. I shouldn't have said anything. What about your experiences? I think gender expression is very important. What do you hope for? I want to affirm in children that they are thinking about who they are. Thinking, how am I positioned in society? And from there, what am I? What do I want to become? That is what I want to make happen. What was transition like? I saw a doctor who said I probably had gender identity disorder. I felt I could do something and had to do it my way. But there's a system. Doctors check you, confirm 2 guidelines in order to get treatment. In 2005, I decided to cooperate with the system. Why did you comply? I had to get to a state where I had been permitted to get surgery, so that I would know whether or not I truly wanted it. Otherwise, I might feel that I wanted surgery just because I was not allowed to it. You oppose the system? I have no intention of changing my ID to female. I wish the state was not involved in gender. Similarly, even if same-sex marriage is made legal, I won't get married. The marriage system itself values partnerships, but we should value people. Doing it your way. In the 1990s, I realized I was transgender. Discussions about it were spreading in Japan, but it was still not clearly understood. And I, too, didn't have the view that one should decide things for oneself. I was always checking what other people thought. I'm sorry about that. Alright, thanks for talking to me. You can definitely feel from Itsuki's testimony there the kind of just feelings of like gender and how different generations are kind of handling it. And, how far they're comfortable with that change from what they've experienced as well. So, it's really just interesting to see. So, we're finishing up with Sayaka. I'm 57 years old, but people think I'm about 45. When I go to high school reunions, my former classmates look much older than me. Having a nap. Good for you. I like your tails. What do you do for fun? What do you do for work? Let's go for fun. I like to go to the hot springs with my partner. We have no money, so we go to the public hot springs in the open air. Huh. Does being trans affect you? Most people don't know that I am trans, so rather than being rude to me, there are awkward situations such as people talking about the menopause with me. I'm not sure how I should respond. What do you do for work? I've worked with nonprofits, for example. In Japan, a lot of blind people work as massage therapists, so I help them to find clients and drive them to jobs. Oh. Did you enjoy that work? A lot of clients are older people with lots of physical pain in their legs or back, and seeing them happy was the biggest joy. That's great. Are you out as trans? I didn't come out as trans to my partner until last year when I ran for political office. He was shocked, but we're still together. Oh, you ran for office? I ran for ward councillor in Amagasaki in 2017. What was campaigning like? You weren't out before? Until last summer, I didn't think I would come out. When I did, my partner was a little angry. It came as a big shock to him. Despite all that, we're all still together. Okay. What was campaigning like? It takes a lot of work. Every day before work, I went to the train stations to speak to commuters, and after work, I do the same. Then distribute flyers and drive around the campaign van with a loudspeaker. Is political system fair? It's really hard to become a politician. It's expensive. Only people with money can do it. The entry fee to run for city council is $2,000 approximately. Wow. Why did you come out? One day after I've been speaking outside the train station, a young person I didn't know on Twitter told me that seeing me there had I was campaigning for LGBT rights to appeal to people for change, but it's the stranger who gave me the courage to come out. Oh, cool. Sounds like a big problem. Wanting to campaign to make this more visible to people. That's great. What's next for you? I'm getting older in a way that's fun for me. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm kind of a cool lady. I ride bikes, use computers, drive cars. I'm not a stereotype. Is there pressure to conform? When I first transitioned, I tried to make myself fit stereotypes. I wore skirts and high heels and really worked at it, but I felt wrong. That's not who I am. Oh, are you going to retire? There's more that I can do. I can still do more things. People tell me that I am too old, but I am still young. Good for you, Sayaka. Good for you. Thank you all for watching. We're going to go through the credits. If I can. Nope. Can't go through credits. Guess that's it then? Yeah, there's not much else I can do. Thank you for your time. Thank you for hanging out. Again, the resources are down below. They're always in the description. Please feel free to check them out there. It's a day to take time and remember. It's a day to just feel those emotions, recognize that loss, and know that we can do better. With all that said, I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!